I'm Emily and welcome once again to my channel. Today I'm going to be watching Scumbag System episode number 3. And before we start, I actually have something else to do. If you remember, in my last reaction, which was actually a week ago, I asked a question, and that question was, if you were to transmigrate, which novel would you choose to transmigrate and which character would you be? And I said that I was going to give my answer in this reaction. Now, when I asked the question, I came up with an answer pretty quickly. Especially the novel, right away I knew which novel that I was going to transmigrate. The character also came fairly quickly. I realized that there was a particular type of character that I was attracted to, and that was probably the one that I would like to be. However, during the week, I actually gave the matter a little bit more thought. And I come up with a few more options that I also think they are interest. Although there is one that I particularly like, that is the one that I like the best, I managed to come up with some other options that I think they would be interesting to explore. What I'm trying to say is that this is not going to be short. I have quite a bit to say about things for this one. I have a lot of opinions as usual, so surprise to no one, this is going to be long. I don't know how long, maybe 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. Who knows? Once I start talking, I never know how to stop. So it's always a surprise. It's always a surprise. I look down at how much I've spoken and I surprise myself. So this is going to be a surprise. I have no idea how long this is going to be. So for those who are not interested at all in this, he said, who cares? Who asked you? I asked myself. But for those who are not interested in listening to my answer, they are just here for the reaction. They want just to go to episode number 3. Then for these people, I'm going to put not the link, but I'm going to put a time in maybe the description, maybe in the video, somewhere. Look for it because it's going to be somewhere. If I don't remember to put it in the video, I'll definitely put it in the description or in a comment, or I'll put it somewhere. And you'll be able to move to that place swiftly and ignore whatever is going to come next. So for those people, goodbye. I'll see you in whatever time is going to take me. Now, for the people who stayed, why? Why would you do that to yourself? But thank you for staying. You make me think that this is not in vain. And get ready for me to give you some answers, because boy, do I have some. So the first part of the question, what novel would I like to transmigrate? And obviously, first of all, I limited myself to Chinese novels because I think that's the spirit of the question. It's not any novel that I have read. If that was the case, maybe my answer would be very different. It would probably be a novel. Oh God, no, that presents a much bigger question. No, I'm not even going to think about that. I limited myself to Chinese novels, which already presented a problem for me because I haven't actually read any Chinese novels. So any novel is going to be a surprise. Obviously I have started Murao Sushi, but I haven't advanced a lot. So that is that. So already, let me give you a disclaimer that for all of this discussion, I'm actually using the TV version. I'm actually using the adaptation and not the novels because I haven't read the novels. I don't know. And I want to answer this now. Maybe in the future, when I read the novels, I'm going to change my mind. But for now, having not read anything, I'm going to base my answer in this. And some people may say that is cheating, but since this is a hypothetical question that I created, I feel like I can just make cheating something that can happen and be fine with. I set the rules in this. So I say that it's fine. It's fine to choose the TV adaptation. So that makes things better. However, I also decided that I didn't want to transmigrate to something that I haven't finished watching in its entirety. So, for example, no Heaven Official Blessing and no Guardian. That's for sure. Not even considering, the Sleuth of Ming Dynasty. All of those novels, I am not transmigrated. Though I feel like the Sleuth of Ming Dynasty doesn't have as many characters and I don't know them all. I feel like I wasn't that advanced in that show enough to be able to decide where would I transmigrate in that universe? So definitely not that. But even Guardian, that I think I'm quite advanced, like I think I'm more than halfway through the show, I still wouldn't transmigrate there because I have no idea how it's going to end. I don't know what character is going to suffer. I don't know which character is going to die, which one is going to survive. So I'm not crazy. And especially with Heaven Official Blessings, that I feel like there is so much more to that show. There's so much more history that I don't know. And also I get the feeling that those characters suffer a lot. So I don't know if that is my universe to go. I want a universe in which I don't have to suffer that much. So already my options were limited to essentially only two things: Word of Honor and The Untamed. Now, the choice was pretty easy to me. First of all, because I love magic, I love fantasy, so already the scale was tipping in favor of The Untamed. But I feel like the universe of Word of Honor is pretty bleak. Like, it's pretty depressing. There is a lot of violence. And people are going to say, yes, there is a lot of violence in the universe of The Untamed as well. There are like zombies and people gets eaten and all of that. And yes, but that is most of Modao Sushi. That's another reason why I prefer The Untamed. If I have to live in that universe, I prefer that level of violence. The level of violence at The Untamed, which is like not zero, but not that far above it. I want the zombies to look like just dirty people with bad wigs. That's all I want from a zombie. I want zombies that do nothing but that. Just walking around and being useless. That's my type of zombie. I want not to see a lot of blood and a lot of violence. I like my violence to be understated. So the universe of The Untamed is something that I feel I can cope with, because honestly, even Modao Sushi, which is an animation, and people would think maybe because it's an animation I can cope with it better, but no, I close my eyes at a lot of points in that show. I think especially certain moments that come to mind that I have no idea what happened, because I started to close my eyes very early and I didn't open them for like 5 minutes. So that's essentially why I'm particularly choosing the world of The Untamed and not the one in Modao Sushi. Now, definitely my choice is The Untamed. That is without a question. So if you haven't seen The Untamed, I'm going to be talking about some spoilers for The Untamed in this. If you haven't seen it, then maybe this answer is not for you. Just be happy that I'm going to transmigrate into the universe and then move on to their reaction, and that's it. So, we are in the universe of The Untamed. And for my first choice, I decided that I was going to keep in the spirit of Scumbag System, and I was going to choose a villain. And obviously, when I think of villain, the first character that comes to mind is Jiang Yanli. That is the villain for me. I have heard a lot of versions of a lot of people saying that there are a lot of other things are villains in the story, or there are no villains. No. To me, a character that forces a bunch of prostitutes to rape a body and then burn them alive, that is definitely a villain to me. I don't care if at the end of the novel he's definitely a villain. And for this reason, honestly, Jiang Yanli squicks me a lot. Every time that I think of Jiang Yanli, my reaction is, ugh. And I think everybody who has seen The Untamed with me knows that is true, because that is the way that I have reacted to the character every time he comes on screen. And that is a pity, because I feel like transmigrating as him would have so much potential. He has a lot of access to things, and he has a lot of potential to change a lot of things. So I think it would have been interesting, but I just can't stand it. I wouldn't be able to wake up every morning and look at the mirror and see his face, his little dimples. Like, the actor is adorable, but no. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the other aspect about his character that I found intriguing, as for possible transmigration, is how close he can be to Nimindre, which is another point of interest that I have in this story. If I transmigrate into this universe, I want to be as close as Nimindre as possible, preferably his pet. But that is not going to be the measure that I'm going to use for transmigration. Don't worry. But he's pretty close to him, so I think that could be something that gave me potential. But I cannot stand him. The same as with his dad, Xin Wanshan, whose name I forgot the other day, by the way. That is how little I care for the guy. I just look at him and disgust me. I cannot wake up every morning with that face, so I just choose not to go for Xin Wanshan, Xin Wenshao, not even Xin Sun. Again, Xin Sun I think is a pretty relevant character. I think I don't know, he appears pretty late in the story, so I don't know. I feel like I'm not crazy about him. I guess Suchet is right there, but again, no thank you. No thank you, you can keep him. So, obviously, I leave the Jin villain group to move to the original, the OG villain group of the Untamed, which is the Wens. And there, I think there is a lot more potential. And obviously, my first thought is Wen Ruhan. Wen Ruhan has to be the villain to transmigrate. However, that is not my choice. I feel like, first of all, he's old, at least in the Untamed he is, and he seems to be not well. At least in the Untamed. I know that in Morao Sushi he looks younger, and he isn't, like, because there is a plot that is absent in Morao Sushi that is in the Untamed, so in Morao Sushi, I'm guessing also in the novel, he's not, like, let's say, influenced by negative energy or, whatever he's using. So it's definitely a different character. However, I feel that it's also a very limited character because it's a character that we never see him around. Like, he's always at Nightless City. He's just doesn't leave the place. So I feel like that makes it very limited and very just unattainable. You know what I mean? I want a character that gives me possibilities. I want a character that gives me the chance to explore things, because that's why I want to transmigrate into the universe. I want to explore things. I want to meet people. So I think the most obvious option to transmigrate, if I'm going to transmigrate into the villain of the Untamed, I think the most obvious choice is definitely Wen Chao. And you're going to say, Wen Shu is right there. That's true. But the only time that we see Wen Shu, he's hitting Lang Wenji, he's fighting Lan Qiren. I just don't like him. I just don't like Wen Shu. So I feel like Wen Chao is a much more hated villain, but that's why I want him to give him a little bit of redemption. You know why? Because apparently everyone can get a little bit of redemption in the Untamed. Well, not everybody. To be fair, I've never read anything about anybody wanting to give Wen Chao some redemption. But you know what? I feel I could give him some, if I was him. I feel I could redeem him, even though, I don't know, he's dead. I don't know what happened when we transmigrate into somebody else's body. What happened to the original one? Disappears? Is he you now? Like, if I transmigrate into Wen Chao, is Wen Chao in my body after? Is he Amelie in this world? That is something to concern myself also. But I'm not going to think about it. So, Wen Chao. I think this is a great character because he's always out and about. He talks to people. You can get him to do things. You can get him places. And I feel like the best moment to transmigrate as Wen Chao would be right before he accompanies Wen Qin to the land lectures. Because I think he maybe can convince his dad to let him attend the lectures with Wen Qin. I think that would be such a change. He would say, like, maybe he doesn't trust her, like, maybe he thinks he could do a better job. I don't know. He could be there, and maybe he could help her a little bit, but also maybe he could start making some connections and, maybe be friends with the guys, maybe I don't know, offer yourself as a spy. I don't know, but I think that is the one that is probably the plot point that's going to give you the most possibilities to do things as a character, and to maybe redeem the character in the other character sides. Although at this point he hasn't done anything. I don't think they met him yet. So that is a good point to start with Wen Chao. The other benefit of doing this is that me, as a transmigrator, I'll be able to be there in Cloud Recesses as Lang Wenji's and Wei Wuxian's little romance blossoms. Like that is, I am there at the beginning, at the genesis of Guangxian. And I think that is great. That is one of my favorite things. So that is something that I would really appreciate. Just meeting the guys, attending Lan Qiren's classes, who, again, I'm a big fan of Lan Qiren. I love the guy. So I would love to see a class of him. So I think this is something that is going to give me the most possibility of enjoyment. And what would I do with Wen Chao? Wen Chao is someone that is always on my mind. So how would I deal with him? Because he's an interesting character, also because what does he want? Power. I feel like a lot of people say that, Nihua-san is the ultimate villain in the story. However, Nihu-san is pretty easy to deal with because we know exactly what he wants. He wants revenge for his brother. He wouldn't have done any of what he did if it wasn't for the death of his brother. So we already have a motivation. We already know what he wants. So if you stop that, you know that Nihua-san is probably not going to be much of a threat. I think you have to keep an eye on him because he has the ability of being a threat. But I feel like if he's left alone, if nothing bothers him, if he's not forced to step up and do things, he's not going to. And that is something that he says at the end of the Untamed. And again, I'm basing solely myself on the Untamed. So I feel like as a villain, if you consider him a villain, which I don't necessarily do, I feel like it's pretty easy to control. Wen Chao, however, is a character that what he wants is power. And because he wants power, he never has enough. He always has to have absolute power. He always has to have absolute control. And he always keeps wanting more. And he is willing to do a lot of things to achieve it. So I have the feeling that I don't know how easy he will be to make happy. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that, if people treat him nicely, he wouldn't do what he does. No, people did treat him nicely and he still did what he did. So I don't think that's going to work. So my fair instinct is to just sit down to him and say, you know what? Look, listen, no, what you're doing, no. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your daddy issues. I feel like there is a lot to say about that. So that would be my first instinct, but I don't know how well would it work. And I don't know, because he said, well, could you give him some power? No, because that would be the start. If you give him some power, he will want more. And then I would end up dead. So I would definitely not give Wen Chao some power. So sadly, if my first plan doesn't work, I just will have to kill him. That's it. I will have to find a way, maybe accidentally, but I'll have to kill him. So that is my plan to become Wen Chao in the transmigration. Now, what do I hope to achieve by being Wen Chao? Because what is my happy ending? What is the version of my happy ending as Wen Chao? Would I end up as the leader of the Wen clan? I don't want that. I don't want that level of responsibility. I don't want to have to deal with all of that. So I think when I got to that position, obviously after I kill Wen Shu, because I think Wen Shu is the older, I would just say, you know what? I don't want this. I think what I want is, I don't know, marry Nimin Jue, leave everything for him. Yes, ideally, but no. Again, in my mind, in my dreams for sure, but no. I would just say, you know what, I just don't want to. I guess, who can I marry in this universe? Who's available? Wait, who's available that I can marry as Wen Chao? Wen Shu Liu? I think I read a story like that sometime. And you know what? The guy who plays Wen Shu Liu, he's not that bad looking, so I would take him. I would first think, well, can I marry Wen Qing? No, but we are cousins. Here, they're cousins or something. So no, definitely weird. Anyway, I definitely don't want the Wen clan. So I would do something not to have it. I don't know, renounce to it. I don't know, pretend that I'm ill, that I'm dying, go away, I'm traveling. I don't know. I definitely don't want to do it. So whatever I do, I think what I would ultimately do is put Wen Qin in power. And I would let her transform the Wen clan into a medicine clan or something. And there, everyone's happy. I trust Wen Qin. I think she's going to do a great job. Wen Ying is there, her second in command or something. I don't know. And I could be like a visitor from time to time. I don't know where I live. I don't know where I am. I don't know who I marry. But I'm definitely not leading the Wen clan. But, I'm alive, which is what's important. And I think that's what I think about Wen Chao. You know what? Wen Liu is not a bad option. I like the actor who plays Wen Liu. I saw him in another show, and he was playing such a different role. He was playing a literally whining little bitch, and it was so different, but it was so funny. So, you know what? I don't mind that. But I don't know. Chin Su, I guess she's also available there because she's not marrying Wen Chao. We know that. So I guess I can marry her. She was also very good looking. I'm open to anything, to be honest. So whoever wants to marry me, I'm down to it. Wen Jiao, I would give her some money and say, you know what? Maybe you can leave. Go away. Save yourself. But I don't think I want her anywhere close to me. And that's pretty much it. That is my first option for my transmigration adventures. Now, my second option. My second option comes with, I don't know if it's a disclaimer. I don't know. It's definitely not a disclaimer. But the question that I asked before, what happened to the person, like, if I transmigrate into a character, what happened technically to this character? For example, here in the Scumbag System, Shen Yuan transmigrated into Shen Qingqiu. What happened to Shen Qingqiu? Is he dead? And this is a problem for me because of this option, because this possibility that I'm going to say now, because definitely this is a character that I don't want to die. And this is a character that I love, I care for it a lot, and I definitely don't want her dead. So my idea is that if I transmigrate into this character transmigrates into an even better universe where she lives the time of her life, she has a lot of fun, and she has no worries for the rest of her life, and she just lives happily ever after. So let me just say that. That is what happens to the original. So in this second option, I wanted to obviously transmigrate into a character that was one of the good guys, let's just say. And I discarded the protagonist pretty quickly. I definitely how did I pronounce it? Definitely do not want to be Wei Wuxian. I cannot tell you how much I do not want to be Wei Wuxian. But you know what? Can you imagine if after the 16 years, when after the 16 years, Wei Wuxian wakes up at the Mo Manor? Can you imagine if that actually wasn't Wei Wuxian? If maybe it was actually a transmigrator pretending to be Wei Wuxian because they knew the story? And that's why Wei Wuxian has such a bad memory, because he actually doesn't have a memory of everything. It's just a book that he read. That is an interesting concept. I don't know if I like it, but it's an interesting concept. Anyway, I'm not Wei Wuxian. Not only, obviously, because of the obvious suffering and pain, I do not want to spend a couple of months in what was the name of this place? I don't know why I want to call them the Deadly Hallows. I know that is something from Harry Potter. It's not the Deadly Hallows. That place that Wen Chao threw him, which is something that as Wen Chao I wouldn't do. Maybe I had to make friends with Wei Wuxian. Anyway, the burial mounds. There we go. The burial mounds. I do not want to spend a lot of time there not eating. And also somebody told me that during that time he kind of ate dead bodies because it was the only thing that was there. I kind of thought he could practice, what do they call it? Inedia? I only seen it written, so I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, which is when they don't eat. But, so, I don't know. I kind of assume he didn't eat for the whole time, but I guess maybe he ate bodies. So, anyway, I'm not transmigrating as Wei Wuxian. I don't want to transmigrate as Lan Wangji either. I feel like I'm a very expressive person. I can guarantee I would not be able to keep that poker face. That is just impossible for me. So definitely not Lan Wangji. And let's be honest, I don't want to separate that couple. I feel like I would never. Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian, they have to remain together. So definitely neither of the two. So I wanted a character that was there. There was a character that had a presence, but I also wanted a character that didn't do a lot. And you're going to think, Ni Huasan, But no, it's not Nihua-san, because Nihua-san is a very smart character, and I feel that I can feel those shoes. So my choice for the second character is actually my beloved, my adorable Yanli. That's right, I want to be Yanli. I want to transmigrate as Yanli. And I tell you exactly at which point I will transmigrate as her. After Lotus Spear is destroyed, Yanli gets sick because they escape in the rain or something. I think that's the moment I transmigrate as her. And again, it's painful because where does Yanli go? To a better universe where she's going to live a better life, but that's it. That is what happens to her. In this option, I'm transmigrated as Yanli. And I do think this is a very interesting possibility because I feel like Yanli is actually has the potential to change a lot of things. I think she has more power and she has more access to potential things that you could change that she realizes. Obviously, because hindsight is 2020, to be honest. But at the same time, I feel like Yanli is a very naive character. It's a character that maybe she's not aware of, maybe the world. It sounds bad because I love Yanli, but she's not very politically aware. In a sense, I feel like she has been very sheltered. So I feel like, she could have done more, maybe, especially if she had a different character, because maybe with the character that she has, no, but I feel like maybe if she had been more cunning and if she had been, more aware of what was happening, maybe she could have done different things. Obviously, in a lot of parts, especially after Lotus Spear, she was, completely destroyed by grief, which is something that I wouldn't be, because I actually, although I don't care that much about Madame Yu and Jiang Yanli, like, sorry for them, but I'm fine with their death. So definitely, I think I would be in a much better position to do things after that. And what I like about her, what I find interesting about her is how much contact she has with other characters. Like, she has contact with Wen Qin, she has contact with Xin Sichuan, she's in the Unclean Realm, she then goes to, what is the name of where the Genes live, whatever Genes live. So, she's a character that travels a lot, that she has a lot of contact with a lot of people, and you would say, yes, Amelie, but nobody would hear her. I mean, we already know two people who would hear her, one of them being the most powerful necromancer in this universe, which is Wei Wuxian, and the other one who's a sect leader, which is her brother. So I feel like if she's smart and she can coax them in certain directions, I feel like she could have a lot of power in her hand. And even then, like, let's say no, like that doesn't happen. Even then, when she marries Xin Sichuan, which already is a sore moment, because I don't know if I said this before, but I have read a lot of stories between Yanli and Nimin Jue. It is my guilty pleasure. I love that pairing. I love that ship. I confess it. Nimin Jue and Yanli, I don't know what it is. I fucking love it. I'll throw some recommendations later in Tumblr for people, because there are some gems out there. I love it. But that is not as much as I would love to go into that direction, that is not the direction that I would go. I think I would marry Xin Sichuan. Xin Sichuan is fine. I don't mind it. He's a good looking guy. I like him just fine. So I would marry Xin Sichuan. And imagine, you can kill Jin, oh god, names late at night. My brain is not working. You could kill Jing Wanzhan, like, easily. You can make him a pot or lotus rib soup that is poison, and then, how did that get there? Not Yanli, who is poor and innocent, and she wouldn't do anything like that. So you had so much access. She could have killed half of the Jins if she wanted to. So again, I don't think the original Yanli will do it, but I don't give a shit. I would easily kill him. Give me some rat poison. Now, I don't know how to make lotus rib soup, So that would be a problem. But maybe I would just make it bad. I mean, he's going to die anyway. And then I would say that it hurt me so much to see someone die from mud soup. I won't do it again. I'm traumatized. So I don't know. There's so much potential for Yanli. I feel that, you know what? I think I could do a lot as her. And I like the possibilities. I like the possibilities of changing the story from that side. I also think that maybe she could have, obviously, again, because I know how the story goes, I could maybe change what happens to Wei Wuxian, what happened with the Wens. I don't know. There is a lot of things that I feel could be achieved. Obviously, I don't think it's something, she's not going to wield power openly, but I don't know. I think by suggestion, Xin Sichuan loves her. I think he'll do whatever she says. That guy's whipped. And her brother, Wei Wuxian, I think between the three of them, she can get some things solved. Get Xing Wenshan out of the way, get Xin Sichuan as the leader of the genes, get rid of Jing Wanzhao. Again, my plan for Jing Wanzhao is exactly the same. Talk to him. If that doesn't work, he eats the same soup as Xing Wenshan. Actually invites him to dinner, one of them, and just don't invite Xin Sichuan at that time. So I think that it could be a good plan. And then you get Xin Sichuan on, I was going to say on the throne. I know it's not a throne. You can get him there as the leader. Then you have your brother, Shang Chen, who is in Lotus Spear. And I think with those two, it would be pretty easy to secure the alliance of the others, just to say, oh no, Wei Wuxian is was innocent all alone. Okay, let's bring him back and he's fine and nobody hates him. The Wens are fine. They could go live somewhere. I don't know. Again, such a lot of potential. There are several things that go against me transmigrating as Yanli. First of all, I don't want Yanli to die. That is just not my thing. So, and I don't mean the actual death, because that is something that I would avoid. I would definitely don't go into battle for Wei Wuxian. I love you, Wei Wuxian, but I'm not your sister, so they will tell me later what happened at Nightless City. Was it Nightless City? Is that the... Yeah, I think so. There are other things that, I think I would have a problem with. First of all, is that Yanli is a very sweet person, and I am not as sweet. I'm also an older sister, but my type of older sistering is closer to Wenqin than Yanli. So I will have to do a lot of pretending. I will have to do a lot of being nice and sweet to my brothers when all I want is just to smack them. So that would be hard to resist. And I think that's pretty much the only against. I'm not crazy about marrying Xin Sichuan, to be honest. But, I mean, I'm not, it's not something that I would hate either. He's a good looking guy. I'm fine with it. And I think that's it. I think that's it as far as, Yanli goes. I think it's such a strong possibility. Yanli is definitely someone who had a lot of access to very different people. And he also was invisible enough to be able to get away with a lot of things. In another way, it's a character that's very similar to Nihua San. That is a character that not a lot of people would look twice at. So that gives you a lot of room to do some shady shit without people noticing. And also you can play the victim card. I mean, again, you look at Wei Wuxian, you play the victim card, that guy's going to kill half the people in your way. So, again, I don't want to sound manipulative, but I don't know. I like it. I like it as a possibility. However, those are not my two favorite possibilities. Neither Wen Chao nor Yanli are my favorite possibilities because I have to do too much. And I don't know if I want to do too much. As Wen Chao will probably have to fight. I will probably have to be a spy or something. I'll have to deal with my dad, who is Wen Ruhan, Wen Su. I will have to kill people. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do anything. I never want to do anything. I'm so lazy. That is just not me. And also I don't want to be in danger. Like, even knowing everything that's going to happen, I feel like there is a lot of unexpected things that could happen. So I just don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be in any pain ever, never. I don't want to do anything. So I feel like that already discards both possibilities. Obviously, Yanli is a more passive character, so she would allow me not to be as active, but still, I'm not as smart as to, go behind people's back and do plans. I'm not a planner. I'm not a schemer. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. That is the reason why I discarded Nihuasan. I don't know if I'll be able to deal it, even with Yanli. So definitely, those options, I like them in theory. I like how much I'll be able to do and how much potential to be an interesting choice they are. But that is not my final option. My final option is a character who essentially does nothing because I don't want to do anything. Like, yes, I am sorry for what happened to all of the characters. If I can stop their death, I can stop their suffering, I definitely would. But essentially, I want a character in which I don't have to do much. To be honest, I'm just happy watching the story up close. So I need a character that would allow me to do that. However, I'm also someone who likes to talk and likes to have opinions. So I would like to do essentially what I do here, like while I was watching The Untamed, just to make a running commentary of everything that happens and just impose my opinion on people who maybe don't want it. I think you know where this is going. If you have seen my reactions to The Untamed, I think you know what my character is. And you are absolutely right. If I were to transmigrate to The Untamed, my first option for a character, it wouldn't be a villain, it wouldn't be Wen Chao, it wouldn't be Yanli, God rest his soul, because I don't want to kill her. It would be 100% Sect Leader Yao. 100%. That guy is living my dream life. That is exactly what I want to do. Nothing. I want to do nothing and loudly say things to people. That guy is like watching TV, like, when people scream at the TV, I know it very well because I do it all the time, even when I'm not recording myself. That guy is doing that. He's like watching the drama unfold and just shout opinions that nobody's listened to because nobody pays him any attention, because nobody cares. He's not important. He's no one. And his opinions are usually shitty. I like to think my opinions would be better. But he's in such a privileged position to do that. Because he's the leader of I think, a small clan. So it doesn't matter. Like, people have to be kind of nice to him. He has access to places, so he can see things happening. But at the same time, he's not important enough to be a target. Nobody wants to kill him except the people who listens to him. And he's usually safe. The only moment that I can think, well, he's in danger in 2 moments in the story, and I think I can avoid them pretty easily. The first moment is Nightless City, when they, do the thing to Wei Wuxian, and Wei Wuxian gives them the amulet and everybody's fighting for it. That is the moment that I can think that he's fighting for the amulet, but I don't care about the amulet. So I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'll be there. I want to see what's happening, but I think I'll just go to the side. you know what? I'm not going to get involved in this. I'm just here to look, to watch, to see what's happening. I'm just going to stand behind a pillar and look under, to the side, hide myself or put myself in a place where I can watch, but don't do anything. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm not interested in the amulet or whatever that was. I don't remember. I have to at this time of night, I don't remember a lot of things. The other time that I saw him like fighting, it was in the second siege of Burial Mounds, and I don't know, there was a lot of people there. I feel like I could get in the middle and swing my sword a little bit and get away with not doing much. But the guy is everywhere, and he's always very loudly telling people what he thinks, and literally nobody cares. Nobody pays him any attention except Sect Leader Yang, I think it is, that I know there are some people in the internet that for some reason ships them. That would not be the way that I was going. I would definitely, if I was Sect Leader Yao, I would definitely not go on the route of a relationship with Sect Leader Yang. We can just be friends. I feel like I could find myself a better wife. I will think about it. I will see who. I will think about it, but definitely not him. So again, I feel like it just has all of the characteristics. And the moment that I think I have to transmigrate before he appears in the story. If I'm not incorrect, unless I'm mistaken, I think the first time he appears in the story, at least in the past, and I'm pretty sure in the show in general, is after the Wen clan starts attacking smaller sects, and his is one of the sects that he attacks. So he has to go to Lotus Pier to ask Xiang Fengmian for help, and that is what gets Xiang Fengmian to go to the Jin place of residence to talk to them because of what the Wens are doing. That is the first part that he appears, and he appears pretty wounded. So I think it has to be before that. It has to be after the attack because I don't want to fight. But before he is there, or maybe a little bit after, I don't care. But what I want to do is take that as an opportunity to say that maybe my golden core got damaged on the attack, maybe, I don't know, Wen Chao did something, I don't care. I just want to have an excuse not to have to fight anyone. So that's what I would do. I would just tell them that after the attack, I could not fight, and that's it. I'm just not fighting anymore. And then I'm free to just watch things and make fun of them. just comment. I'm not make fun, but just comment. And yes, if I can, I'll try to change things. I'll speak in favor of Wei Wuxian, if I can. But to be honest, my main objective to being him is not necessarily to change the story. I just want to see what happens. I just want to have like, I don't know, it's like, would be like the closest seat to the stage to see the drama unfold. That's exactly what I want with this character. And I feel like there are key moments in which he's not present, like for example the YN temple and all of that. But I feel like somebody could tell me about that. That was a mess. That was dangerous. I don't know if I want to be involved in that. My concern is just being safe and being in a position to watch things and comment. So that is all that I want from this character, and I think he could give me. Now, how would the character end? I feel the same way the original ends. I think he has a pretty good ending in the sense that nothing happens to me. We can presume that he lives for the rest of his lives in, happy and whatever. As far as a wife, is he married? We actually don't know. We don't know anything about this guy. So I guess I can marry who I can marry, who I have, is he's older. So I definitely don't want to marry someone too young. But we don't have that many women in the show. So I think the only two people that we have available for Sect Leader Yao to marry, at least women, because we have men, but definitely not Sect Leader Yang. That is where I draw the line. But if I had to marry a lady, I'll definitely marry probably Cici. Was Cici the prostitute that Jing Zhao saved? She had a scar, but I thought she looked hot. You know what? I'll definitely be happy with her. Then I think it was Bisao or something like that. She was the servant of Qin Su. I'm less convinced about her. I see Cici is where it's at. And for men, I don't feel like there are that many men available at this stage of the story. So, I don't know. I think I'll just be happy with Cici, and that's it. And that's my choice. That is my choice. If I could transmigrate into the Untamed, I would definitely be Sect Leader Yao. That is my ideal role. But don't get me wrong, I think the other two possibilities are also interesting. They definitely present the possibility of deviating the story in an interesting way, but more in a kind of way that I would be interested in reading. I don't know if living through it. So this is my final answer. The other possibility that I thought, I had an alternative for Sect Leader Yao, and that alternative was actually the Shanyu tortoise. I thought, you know what? If that tortoise would have killed Wen Chao and then she would just behaved, then maybe nothing would have happened. Just move and let everybody live, and then she could live with them. And I don't know, just follow Wei Wuxian and Lang Wangji, and they get a pet. You can be the pet turtle snake for the guys. But I don't know if I want to be a turtle snake. I'm not convinced. I think I want to be something that can speak. And also, that would still leave that sword inside of me, and I don't like that. So definitely that one is discarded. There are other characters that I consider, like Mian Mian husband. That is a prime position, let me tell you. But it was just because I want to be married to Mian Mian, not because I think he's going to change the story. So yeah, I had to let it go. But I think I would say that those three characters are the only three characters that I would be interested in transmigrating. All of the others I have discarded. I'm just not interested. I feel like they would be too much of an effort. Like even Lan Ren, which is a character that I like, is like, no, he's a teacher, but I'm already a teacher. I don't want to deal with that over there. Like I've had already enough here. I feel like that is not something that I want to drag back into the Untamed universe. And then everybody else dies. That you know what? A bummer. This show is a bummer. So those are my answers. I don't know. I also thought about other shows, but I don't know. I have to finish watching them for that. But I would definitely say that even then, I would still say that the Untamed is probably my favorite universe. So that is the one that I would definitely would transmigrate, because I think it's the more fun. You know, it has magic. It has a lot of clans. It has a lot of people. It has a lot of people that I would like to meet. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it would be fun. So that's it. That's my answer. I don't know. Okay, 46 minutes. I talked a bit. It'd be probably a little bit less. Because at the beginning it took me, I waited a while to start talking, so I don't know how much time I'll get from that, but it took me quite a while. So yeah, I knew it already. So let me know what you think about my answers, what you think about my options. They are what they are. I'm still thinking if there is a better option for Sect Leader Yao, but to be honest, I don't think there is. I think he is the better option. We don't have another character that is like this. So I think he's definitely the best option for a transmigrator, 100%. Okay, so finish this business, finish this answer. I have answered. And now I'm free to move to Scumbag System. So when do we left off in the previous episode? Oh, yes. Shen Yuan and Luo Winghe and Ming Fang, and what is the name of the girl? Ying Ying, I think. They were all in this place. They have to find something that was killing young women, and Shen Yuan managed to track it because he used a trick from the system, which I think he shouldn't have used, but he still used it. And then he ended up being knocked down by whatever it was when they came back to the Shen reference, to the Shen reference. Oh my God. I have to start recording this late. I have to organize my time better, definitely, to the Shen residence. And I think that's where he gets knocked down. So let's continue from there. I'm not going to extend it. That's what happened in the last episode. I'm not going to go beyond it because I feel like I have already spoken enough. So let's go to episode number 3 of Scumbag Villain right now.